Anthony Douglas Williams, an animal rights activist, once said, "Each and every animal on Earth has as much right to be here as you and me. With species going endangered and extinct faster than we know it, we need to start helping them and stop neglecting them." What we're doing is simply an ignominy to think about. We never notice this, but we never look at what we're doing that's making these species suffer for our self-indulgence. Think about it. We're producing pollution for our benefit, but we never take into consideration what these species have to go through. We don't care about the invasive species we accidentally brought. And no, we don't care that we're stealing their habitat for our own. We only care when the problem we do becomes a noticeable one. The problem is that humans fail to realize the environmental problem until it becomes a conspicuous problem. When it is noticed, it may already be too late. In order to prevent the problem, we can just not cause it in the first place. Take the black rhinos as shown, for example. The reason they're going endangered is that we poach them for resources. Even though their horns can be used toward medicine, keeping these rhinos can give more in return. How brutal is it to kill an animal just because of its horn, right? The cruelness towards these endangered species is not taken into account, and that is a huge factor that needs to be focused on. Technically speaking, how are they becoming endangered? First of all, pollution. For example, water pollution. When we litter plastic bags and other waste, the wind blows it into a body of water. Animals may recognize it as food, only to realize later that they have been poisoned to death. Secondly, invasive species. When people go across the globe, people may accidentally bring along uninvited species back home, harming the native species. Instead of just noticing the invasive species, you can quickly do something and prevent them from multiplying before it actually becomes a problem. Last but not least, the loss of their habitat. One major way we lose their habitat is by logging, where we literally take their habitat and use it for our resources. We take their trees, but we can't ever seem to repay them. Building roads within their land is also splitting and taking their habitat. Another way is by climate change and pollution. Climate change and pollution make it so that the animals can't live in their habitats anymore because the conditions are too harsh. Alright, so now that I talk about the ways we have presented the problem to the species, but what does causing a problem for the soon-to-be extinct species cause for us? Well, let me put that into perspective. So, there are about 8 billion people in the world today, and as you can see, it may rise to as much as 9 billion in 2050, or maybe even 10 billion. According to worldvision.org, 1/9 of the global population doesn't have access to enough food. That's about 1 billion people who don't have enough to eat. As we rely more on animals for survival, and with more of them going endangered and extinct, how do you think it will be as human populations increase? As we reach closer to our carrying capacity, limiting factors will rise. We're going to have less drinking water and less food per person. People will be forced into conflicts and maybe even wars for these essential resources. This is not something we should look forward to, and I'm sure you think the same. So let's try to steer towards a better future by taking action. First of all, we can learn more and research about these endangered species and then spread awareness. We can also show empathy to the endangered species out there rather than just the stereotypical cats and dogs. We can show as much love to our cats and dogs, to the chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and so many more. Furthermore, we can donate to the causes of the environment and wildlife more. According to a study, only 2 to 5% of all donations go toward the earth and wildlife conservation. Adding on, we can monitor the endangered species to decrease the risk of their extinction, as well as volunteering to clear out pollution. It may not cause a big problem for us humans for now, but before we know it, the problem of endangered species will present a problem to us more than ever before, so it is very important to do our part before we realize it is too late. If it's not us who fixes this problem, then who will, right? Fixing this problem not only gives us a better future, but for future generations. Recovering those endangered species gives us a well-balanced environment with clean air and water. It saves an ecosystem because if one species goes endangered or even extinct, it can also make others in that food chain endangered or extinct. Therefore, if we care for them now, they will give us more in the future. We will all have higher survivability with benefits to both humans and the environment or wildlife. Thanks for listening and tuning into our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and I will try to make sure to get back to you.